Dr. Sudhanshu Mani, a visionary Indian Railways engineer, didn't just dream. He dreamt big and turned his dream into a reality. He envisioned running a semi-high-speed train without an engine and achieved it in a record-breaking 18 months. He wasn't alone. He was ably supported by a team of 50 railway engineers and 500 factory workers. This high-speed train is none other than India's pride, the Vande Bharat Express. Launched in 2019, it has revolutionized India's high-speed rail network. Dr. Sudhanshu Mani is known as the father of Vande Bharat trains, and his contribution to India's railways will always be remembered. Today, even after his retirement, he continues to play an industry-focused role. He is on the advisory board of many corporate houses which benefit from his statesmanship and knowledge. He has authored 7 books, one of which captures his journey in leading and completing the Vande Bharat Express project. He shares his expertise by serving as the co-editor and advisory board member for niche publications such as Rail Business. Dr. Mani also has been the keynote speaker and panelist on platforms such as IIMs, IITs, TEDx, and CII conferences, amongst many others. He has a keen eye for art and promotes visual arts in association with a prominent art gallery in Lucknow. He runs a not-for-profit art and culture center and presides over the Rolling Car Society, which promotes technical awareness. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for the man of the hour, Dr. Sudhanshu Mani.
All my Rotarian brothers and sisters, Illarigu Namaskara. It was a very moving presentation by Dr. Moti, very inspirational. But let me add something about AIDS myself. So there are some old people like me here. Most of you are young, of course. So all old people, except some unfortunate few, have AIDS. Hearing aids, band aids, visual aids, legal aids. When I was asked to come and speak, so like all old people, I also think that I've done many things in life, but people don't think so. So I asked, what should I speak about? And so the caller was surprised. He said, about your achievement. I said, which one? And then he was more surprised. And then he said, what else? The train. Ladies and gentlemen, the golden egg of Vande Bharat Express lives on, although the goose retired more than 7 years back. Then I asked somebody that, how long can I go on speaking about the train? And this is a very intellectually live crowd audience at Mysore, so tell me some hints. And I was told, it's not difficult, try to be original and good. Little did he know that what's original is not good and what's good is not original. So I'll begin with some caveats. Mr. Ramakrishna, so what kind of time do I have? So it was a hypothetical question because I am a railway man for life. Being derailed is my inherent right. But as the budget is being presented, I have to write a piece on budget, so I have to run away and maybe listen to some recordings and write a piece for Hindu. So you are fortunate. I am not a great speaker. Let me first time my 30 minutes, okay. Not a great speaker, so I borrow a lot from my poet uncles. Poet Kabir, who's 700 years old. I have an English uncle called Shakespeare. I have a very young uncle called Ghalib from Delhi. And I will start with the belief that the story is like us good old men who do not retire, who do not, the story is like that wine which does not turn to vinegar but matures with age. But I will not really go into the story. I will only talk about certain sentiments, certain thoughts, certain spirits which form the bedrock of the story of Vande Bharat Express. The first is about dreams. So, you know, all old men not having lived our dreams all our lives, we go and tell youngsters, go and live your dream. I modify it to say that there are 4 things which are more important than any dream. Your family, your friends, your health, and your spirit. Look after that first, but don't let the dream die. Don't let it be extinguished. Let it linger. An opportunity will come your way to realize it someday. And that is the time to give everything to that dream. And that's the time to remember these wonderful words of People's President, APJ Abdul Kalam, that dream is not the thing you see in sleep, but is that thing that doesn't let you sleep. And I stand before you as an evidence, because I had this angst and this dream as to when India, in spite of such a large network, such a large group of engineers, when is it going to have an aesthetically superior, technologically advanced, modern, speedier train. I lived with that dream all my career, all my life, and when I was 57 years and 7 months old, I got that opportunity and a wonderful team bequeathed to me, not my doing, that we were able to address that dream and realize it. It's not my place really to come here and tell you what to do and what not to do. Remembering the words of Portia from Merchant of Venice, if to do were as easy as to know what were good to do, chapels had been churches and poor man's cottages, princesses' palaces. So in the same vein, not really my brief here, but as I said, I will not go into the story, but some 7, 8 pointers from that project, which you may like, may help you. Take your pick. Indian Railways is an institution we can love, hate, love to hate, but is not an institution which you can easily ignore in India. I'll begin with dream once again. Or let me begin with creativity. You know, Make in India. Make India, I'm sure many of you are industrialists here. To make India a factory of the world, some successes, some failures, came COVID, it was rejigged into Atmanirbhar Bharat. But there is a spirit of Atmanirbhar Bharat which goes missing. And that spirit is, transfer of technology can enable you, but it cannot make you, if I can name a country maybe, cannot make you a Korea or a China or a Japan so easily. You can beg, borrow, steal, adapt, transfer, but you have to stamp it with your creativity, your originality, because that will bring ownership. And that ownership brings pride. And that pride can make you do 120, 130, 140% more than what you are capable of. I had insisted that don't send anybody to Bangalore to escort me, wasting 3 hours this side, 3 hours that side, but Mr. Ramakrishna insisted and he sent his nephew, Siddharth. So I went talking to him and I was very happy because he is doing some original work, perhaps unparalleled in India. That's the spirit I'm talking about. You have heard of Ozempic and Mounjaro, which reduces your hunger and good for diabetes and weight reduction. They are developing something which will make you hungry. Am I right, sir? So, a round of applause for Siddharth. Why transfer of technology is not something I believe in. It's good as a beginning. It's covered in a couplet which I'll translate for you. Mere sher aina khane mein teri beshumar adaon ke. I can go poetic about your beauty. Mere sher aina khane mein teri beshumar adaon ke. Magar aisi bhi hai koi ada jo rahegi seena-e-raz mein. There is some elegance of your beauty which will remain buried in the recesses of my heart. Nobody is going to get access to that, and that is transfer of technology. We are stuck between being mindlessly global and hopelessly local. The truth, to my mind, is somewhere near being local, not hopelessly local, but hopefully local. That, to my mind, is the spirit of Atmanirbhar Bharat, and which became the bedrock of the project. We will not go to anyone for technology, good or bad, it will be our baby, we'll make it ourselves. We are all told, of course, most of you are in businesses, but in service, usually you are told what your job is. Once I was young, one of my senior officers asked me what my job was, and I parroted out what was told to me and what I thought my job was, and he told me that's 20% of your job. That will be done by your successor or your predecessor, who are equally competent. I mean, you are not no cat's whiskers. Your job in any position you hold is that once you leave that position to look back and be able to say that these are the things that would not have been done had I not been on the chair. I'll give you one example. Because of shortage of time, I'm not going to just see what is there on the left of your screen. So you know these red-shirted people, whom the Britishers taught us to call coolies. If you look at the meaning of that word, you won't use that word again. Porters. It has reduced because everyone has everyone has luggage on wheels, but nevertheless, sometimes you have a lot of luggage. You'll see this red-shirted fellow carrying 3 tiers of luggage on his head, one on his arm, one on another arm, his neck almost bending, and somebody walking next to him, and then bargaining with him for 5 rupees, 10 rupees, 20 rupees. When I was additional divisional railway manager in 2004, in Sikandrabad, we put 10 aircraft type carts on the platform to improve the image of railways, because this disturbed me. This is not an image a Viksit Bharat can have. Within 3 days, all the carts were broken, and my boss told me not to do all this and concentrate on running your trains, which was 20% of my job. So when I became divisional railway manager close to you in Bangalore, I called all these porters to my room. Now these porters, mostly illiterate, cannot even enter the divisional office, but I called them to my DRMs, that large room, put 50 chairs there, and I talked to them. I said, I want to introduce carts. So they immediately thought the guy is trying to hit at their livelihood. We gave them tea, called 3 meetings, somehow convinced them, and I told them that you will continue to charge what you charge. The trolleys will belong to you. I'll provide it. They somehow got convinced. We implemented it in 4 stations, Bangalore, Kant, Krishnarajpuram, and Yashwantpur. Mr. Muniappa was the minister those days, and he came for a launch. After he went away, one reporter asked me, so the passengers keep paying what they pay. What are passengers or railways getting out of it? I said, by providing these carts, I'm giving dignity to these people, And by giving them dignity, I'm giving dignity to myself. I'm giving dignity to railways. And why I say that, nobody knows about it. It's gone into disuse because perhaps I didn't build a sustainable system. But why I consider not the train, not locomotive, not so many other things, in numbers, production, sales, revenue, as one of my biggest achievements. And I'll tell you why. In 2020, just before COVID, I don't get to travel by trains because I mostly travel from Lucknow to south. You have to take a plane. But that time I was going from Bangalore to Chennai. So I decided to take a train, and I thought not to go to city station but to Kent station so that not to unnecessarily arouse interest. As I got down, I had a small luggage with wheels. A porter came and grabbed it from me. So I thought 100 rupees gone for no reason. I mean, it was a small trolley. So he put me in the train, and as he was leaving, I took out a 100 rupees note. He refused to take it. I said, "What's up?" He said, "Nobody in Bangalore will take any money from you." And that, ladies and gentlemen, I consider as one of my biggest achievements. On the right, also I'll spend 2 minutes there. This is again Secunderabad 2004. So now all the muck goes to bio-tank. Nothing is thrown on the tracks. It used to be, which was quite abhorrent, you would remember. Not railways credit. Supreme Court was after railways, so we had to do it. But that time, this was how tracks were cleaned. You can see those ladies, and I used to go and sit with them, talk to them. One of these days, I talked to one of the lady, and I asked her if she likes her job, if she has some pride in her work, and she said, "You look at me. Sir, look at me. Can I have pride in my job?" I immediately thought this was my biggest job to do. Within 3 months, we provided all these protective gearing and so on. A lot of machines were purchased. And I don't know if you can see, there's a gentleman riding a ride-on scrubber in the center with a tie and a dark pant. He used to be the inspector used to be in a dark blue, ugly uniform. I gave him a couple of dark pants and a shirt and a tie, and I said, on platform number 10, if somebody is from Secunderabad, he would know that's perhaps the best platform in India. I said, in the morning you will ride this scrubber. This was a time when airports also did not have these scrubbers. Now every mall has it. You will ride from one end to the other many times the day, because whether needed or not, because you are conveying a message to everyone that what I do and what my people do has also a pride for us. And Secunderabad became, at that stage, one of the cleanest stations in India. And I went to sit with them again, and I asked this lady, told me, with, footgear, protective gear and everything, that now we have pride in our work, and we try to give best of possible. Another thing about dreams, so nothing about the dream. I said, don't let the dream die. I'm an engineer. So engineers are taught that 2 + 2 = 4, but in life 2 + 2 can be 3 or 2 + 2 can be 5. So I deliberately, not educated in it, but deliberately try to inculcate some spirit of art and literature, visual art, trying to understand what a picture which told me nothing, go with a young lady artist and she would tell you 10 things which you cannot see in a painting. One of the things I realized was that what Shakespeare wrote and what poet Ghalib wrote, 5,000 miles apart, cultures apart, language apart, 200 years apart, whether there was any similarity in the human emotions of love, betrayal, romance, treachery, chivalry. And I always used to wonder when I'll do something about it, but there was no time when I was working, so it was lingering. When I retired, when I was 62 years old, I started working on it. And in 2 years, I wrote a book called, because I didn't find much material on the subject, I wrote a book called Ghalib and Shakespeare, a collation by their self-styled nephew. It sold very well, and I was very satisfied having been able to do it when I was 65 years old. And then I also wanted to present the poetry of Ghalib. You can understand each word, but you will not be able to follow what the couplet means. I wanted to bring it to people through a medium of dance, music, rendition, narration, recitation. So I contacted a Kathak maestro, a singer, put together a play called Bayan-e-Ghalib. I produced it, I acted as Ghalib in it, and I was able to present that play, first show in 24, about 2 years back. Since then, we have done about 6 shows in 5 cities, and we are waiting for sponsors to bring us to Bangalore, Kolkata and Mumbai. Delhi, Jaipur, Bhopal, Hyderabad has been done. And also, if you have heard of Sahir Ludhianvi, a play on Sahir Ludhianvi, to bring his poetry to people, where I acted at Sahir. And there are some sacrifices also. You see, I grew a beard in 1980. For 45 years, I didn't shave it, so my wife had never seen me really. It was only when I had to play Sahir, I had to get rid of my beard. So we have done 3 shows. I shave it, it grows again, I shave it. This is the period we did a play about 14 days back, so it's in the process of growing up. Little sacrifices. So that's about dreams. Another thing that whatever you do, doesn't matter, engineering and business, whichever, whatever job, home, you need these things, but more than that, you need to love what you do, to love the people you work with, to love the organization you work for. And if you don't, better quit. Because you're doing a great disservice being stuck in a job you don't love. Unless it's a serious bread and butter issue. Because irrespective of all the AI and machinery, plant assistance, human resource is still your most important resource. Unless they are with you, you're not going anywhere. And all of you are leaders. It doesn't matter how many people report to you, as long as you are dealing with human beings. You are a leader. And a leader must manufacture, construct, because it's not human to love everyone, must manufacture that love. Once it becomes that habit, the dividends are far too many. A simple couplet goes, "Ik lafz se mohabbat ka adna ye fasana hai, simte to dile aashiq, phaile to zamana hai." Which means this word love has this brief story. If it shrinks, it is the heart of a lover. But if it expands, it is the world. Which was the principle we used once when I was fortunate to be posted as the general manager of Integral Coach Factory. Railways steeped in feudal culture, hierarchy, protocol, walls. My job was so simple, only to shed your ego. Love and empathy. Go to everyone. So GM, 10,000 crore enterprise, 12,000 people. GM is a ceremonial fellow who goes to the factory for cutting ribbons or getting garlanded or something. I would go and ask a simple question in my broken Tamil. And I was told never to do that with 200 industrial workers, and the question was very simple. Any problem? And 99% of the time the reply was, "No problem, sir." What I was trying was to only break those walls with the Englishmen left us for us, and we still live with that. Many examples of that. just a little comical interlude. I'm sure you have seen this. Some of you, have you seen this picture? It's not important what happened. The Mananiya Rahul Gandhi embraced the Prime Minister in the Parliament. What is important? It was what I was doing. And what I was doing was, I had to say it in Hindi, what the Modi ji said, आज पता लगा कि गले लगने और गले पड़ने में क्या फर्क होता है. I'll leave some because of the paucity of time, but it's very important to have this gender-based equality as a lip service. A time has come where it has to be complete equality. In government, you have this Vishakha, where any sexual harassment goes through an inquiry and the victim is compromised. Somehow it doesn't go to logical conclusion. I said, as a leader, I'm not this judge, Supreme Court judge. I hear of a case, or my officers hear of a case. The factory is with the lady. I give myself 4 hours to determine if the complaint is genuine, and if it is genuine, I give myself 4 hours, using the powers given by Government of India, that if you can write that an inquiry is not possible, you can sack the fellow summarily. And we sacked 4 such fellows. That sent a signal to lady employees. Many of them came and said, we were employed as fitters, welders, these men use us as helpers. I said, what do you want? He said, make separate gangs and you'll know. We did for a lot of other work, plumbing, electronics, testing, birth making and so on. But what I leave with you, 29 Chennai women, aged 23 to 57, supervised by a lady supervisor, through heavy welding, fitting and lifting, manufacturing a complete railway coach on their own. And the pride they had in their work, you can see there. It has to be complete equality, no lip service. I'll not even tell you what a train set is, but what went into making it. One is, of course, we have a lot of, so I headed this factory. I was 57 years and 7 months old, bequeathed with a team which also had the similar dream, better than me. And they had the chutzpah, the audacity to try something new. They were bored of doing more of the same. All I needed was to channelize that energy. You see, we are so much consumed by concerns around us that we forget the little dot of our influence. No use cursing darkness all around. Light your own little candle. And if I did not do that, did not light my torch, it was not a dream that I had, it was a pipe dream. So the dream, the fortune of this team, all I needed to do was to channelize that energy. The team chose itself based not on hierarchy, but fire in the belly. And the first thing they said, there are 3-4 more things, sir, maybe I'll take 5 minutes more. So GMs have been empowered by this government. They can spend whatever money. No bar. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 crores. But they said, you want to build a train to run at 180 kilometers per hour with no locomotives, everything under the board, everything above for passengers, you need a sanction from the board. I said, I'll get it for you, but we were not getting it. Cynicism, skepticism, they're trying to spin a yarn, we'll stop imports, this and that. So I went to the chairman railway board, one Mr. A.K. Mittal, God bless his soul, he's no more. And I said, you import whatever you want, give me a sanction to make 2 trains. As he was wavering, I grabbed his feet. I knew that is the only thing which is going to work. I said, I'm not leaving your feet till you give me the sanction. And you'll be the one who will come and inaugurate this. You are retiring in July 18, this is March of 17. It worked. By the time I reached Chennai from Delhi, the sanction letter had come. It's all about pride and vanity. Pride elevates you. You look at everyone with happiness. Vanity diminishes you because you try to elevate yourself by downing others, by belittling others. By grabbing his feet, I was enhancing my pride because I'll go back with the sanction where a very eager team was waiting for it. And by grabbing his feet, I was killing my vanity, which one of you is going to kill in any case someday. Why not kill it yourself today? Many people ask me that when you say you grabbed his feet, you speak figuratively. You did not do it actually. I said, if you're so curious, you have to go up and find out. It's between him and me. Next thing, they said, we'll spend 200 crores making this train. If it works, fine. If it fails, then who will be the scapegoat? I said, I'm retiring before all of you. I'm the oldest. In December 18, I retire. So if it doesn't work, I'll be the scapegoat. What can they do to a retired person? I was wrong, actually, they tried. But nevertheless, it worked. It's all about success, how we define success. You do something, you're working on something, there is an outcome of value, that is success. Actually, that's wrong. You're doing something with all your commitment, with all your passion, with all your hard work. You're giving your life to it. You cannot do more. You have already succeeded. Failures may happen. You may not get an outcome of value, but with that passion, let me assure you, ladies and gentlemen, success is assured. Fear of this outcome of value prevents us from trying. As my uncle has said, Uncle Shakespeare, our doubts are traitors which make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt. गिरते हैं शह सवार ही मैदान जंग में वो तिफल क्या गिरे जो घुटनों के बल चले. The days of your crawling on your feet are over. We'll all be mounted soldiers together and give to country which it has been waiting for 25, 30 years. And that worked wonderfully, ladies and gentlemen. One more thing, we have this shame in accepting that we don't know something. Whereas there is no shame in accepting that you don't know. It is shameful to pretend that you know everything. When we made the matrix of what we needed, the private industry has really come up, unlike ICF or railways, because they don't have bureaucratic shackles. But still there were 3 areas where we needed some hand-holding, and we were not going to any company for technology. So we will go to consultants, we decided, and it worked wonderfully. The underlying idea there is, as my uncle has said, to always be a fool doth think he is wise, but a wise man knows himself to be a fool. It is better to be a witty fool than a foolish wit. One last thing, and it's about teamwork. So, a project of this magnitude, from concept to design to manufacture to validate to prove out to turn out, is a serial process of 36 to 42 months. We were in April of 17. I was retiring in December 18. I was told by the team that by the time you retire, the drawings would have been made, procurement would have started, but work would not have started. By the time you retire, the new leader may come and say, why are you purchasing this trouble? Go do more of the same. Where would we be? Where would our hard work be? I said, yes, but the answer is within us Indians, because we have shown to the world that we can burn our midnight oil, and if I can borrow the phrase, we can really work like donkeys, and we will do together something that has never been done in the world earlier. From concept to delivery, we'll complete this train before I retire. And to remind everyone that the train is going out before December 18, we will give it a name. And that's when we decided to call it Train 18. After that, a story, ladies and gentlemen, of obstacles, opportunities, synergy, solutions. Wonderful 18 months. I'll only leave this picture with you. So ICF has maybe 15 air-conditioned conference room, but we said with the consultants, industry partners, stakeholders, we will do the meetings right where the train was being built in that heat and humidity, because we have to tell the team that we are in this together, together we sink, together we rise. Wonderfully, fortune favors the brave. The train got done exactly in 18 months, launched by Prime Minister, unveiled in October 18, launched by the Prime Minister as Vande Bharat Express between Varanasi and New Delhi. Two trains were made that time. After that, there was a 3.5 years of negativity. We'll not talk about it. But today, as many as 160 such trains are in operation. And if you draw the Vande Bharat map, it is the map of India. 3 things before I close. So it was not Chandrayaan, it was not Mangalyaan, it was not a missile, it was not a rocket, it was just a train. But I as the leader got so much, the train got a lot of appreciation, I as the leader got a lot of limelight, which we never thought would happen. We always wonder why. Perhaps travelers, non-travelers alike, every Indian derived some pride out of the train as something the Indians had built as their own baby for themselves. But the Prime Minister covers it beautifully. He has given unprecedented respect to the train, because he is there to launch each and every one of them physically or through remote. And he says that the train represents the spirit of resurgent and aspirational India. Remembering Ophelia from Hamlet, ladies and gentlemen, especially for young people, we know what we are, but know not what we may be. My uncle has said that things one are done, but the joyous soul lies in the doing. It was great joy working on the project for 18 months. But good people like Mr. Ramakrishna, Mr. Prahlad, Mr. Vikram Datta, I hope they are here. They give me this opportunity to relive their joy, so thank you very much. And 2 more things. So this was not, I as the leader got all the limelight, which happens. But it was not the work of one man. It was work of a great team. Not one member of that team in retrospect would I replace, given a chance again. Such was the power of this team. But they remain unknown and unsung. So it was my job after retirement to chronicle the story, and more than that, to call out the contribution of each and every member, which I hope I've been able to do well in this book called My Train 18 Story. It's available on Amazon. I don't have any commercial interest in it anymore. If some of you want to read about it, you're welcome. We'll be happy. And concluding by saying that 1 million such projects are possible in this country. All it needs is leadership with passion, commitment, and a sense of purpose. Thank you very much.